But I do want to kind of go back to react to one comment that you made regarding standards and certification. I remember, when I took the PMP certification, I had to memorize all the earned value formulas, and I wrote them down and memorized them, and got a perfect score on all the questions related to the earned value. I have to say, I must have gone about 20 years between the time that I earned my certification and completely forgetting about earned value, and then working in an organization that I thought could actually benefit from earned value. And this, to some extent, speaks to my own immaturity of practicing project management, because it's so difficult. And I thought, it's really irrelevant and so forth. But over the years, I've become a huge fan of earned value, because I actually began to understand how you can apply it properly.
And now you're talking. Now you're going from the ugly to the bad to the good, and I absolutely agree with you. I think a lot of people have the same experience. Funny enough, many years ago, when I was managing a startup company in Florida, we had a product that needed to be re-engineered because it was becoming dated, and our supplier from China, the parts were changing, and we wanted to streamline the product. So we actually went to a small company in Alabama. I don't know where it was in Alabama, but in Alabama, and they came recommended. It was a small company. I think they didn't have much more than 50 employees, and we made a request for information. We said, "Listen, we've got this product. Could you re-engineer?" And then took a look at the hardware. We sent them the hardware, and they came back, and in their offer to us, they used earned value. All right, they showed us an example of. I said, this will last 3 months to do this. These are they didn't call them sprints, but they were, sprint-based things in there. I think a 2-week process. And in those 2 weeks, they always had a 1-page printout of the earned value. And they didn't call it earned value, but it was earned value, where they basically said, we're going to basically chunk down scope, time, and cost per sprint. They didn't call it Agile. It was long before Agile had even hit that company.
Now I will say that in Agile and in software development, the concept of earned value is extremely abstract when you compare it to construction and things you can touch and feel. And it really comes to life when you're dealing with construction. Brick and mortar is extremely visual, obviously, and it makes earned value come to life in that context.
One of the biggest challenges, what makes earned value more legitimate and more tangible, is tangible outputs. In software, what are you going to do? You're going to use lines of code, stuff like that. But what this little company showed me is that sometimes the best way to apply something, and you said something valuable before that as well, and I think a lot of people experience this. I think what the PMP is good at doing is opening up doors to experienced project managers to things that they might not have arrived at yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Earned value, configuration management, right? That they might not have come into that, or what a communication management plan is, or how to build one, right? And when to build one. So I think the PMP does a good job in allowing us to benchmark some of the things he said, we kind of put off and said, but I agree with you. I think the longer you're in project management, it'll eventually come to your door. And this small company from Alabama showed me that, sometimes the way to implement something is to not do it in a big project, but to start in a small project and keep it simple, short, So I think that's valuable.